Do you ever wake up feeling like you're wading through mud? Stiff joints creaking, and a general sense of ugh before the day has even properly begun. It's a feeling many of us become all too familiar with as the years tick by. Isn't it that youthful bounce can seem like a distant memory, replaced by a stiffness that settles in overnight and a mind that feels a bit foggy around the edges? It can feel like your body just isn't cooperating anymore, making even simple tasks feel like a chore. You might look in the mirror and not recognize the vibrant person you once were, or worry about keeping up with grandkids, or simply having the energy to enjoy your hobbies. It's a painful reality for so many. This feeling of slowing down, of vitality slipping away. But what if I told you there was a simple way? Not a magic pill or an expensive therapy, but a straightforward routine that could make a world of difference. Something incredibly basic, rooted in wisdom passed down through generations. My own grandpa knew this secret. He wasn't a doctor or a health guru, just a man who seemed to possess an endless supply of calm energy and a cheerful outlook. Right up until his later years. I used to watch him every morning, going through his quiet ritual. And honestly, I didn't think much of it back then. It just seemed like what Grandpa did. But as I've gotten older and started feeling those same aches and dips in energy, I remembered his routine, and when I started doing it myself, replicating those simple steps, the change was honestly profound. In this video, I want to share what I learned from him. We're going to look at a few incredibly simple, yet powerfully effective, habits that can transform your mornings and, by extension, your whole day, helping you feel more energetic, clearer in your mind, and just generally more comfortable in your own skin. These aren't complicated or difficult, they're just fundamental practices that support your body and mind. Stick around to the very end, because I'm going to share something that ties it all together. A mindset shift that might just surprise you with its impact. Let's start with the very first thing my grandpa always did. Something that seemed almost ritualistic. The moment his feet hit the floor, even before putting on his slippers, he'd head straight for the kitchen and pour himself a glass of warm water. Not cold, always warm, and often with a squeeze of fresh lemon. I remember asking him once, when I was a boy, why he did that. He just smiled, his eyes crinkling at the corners, and said, "Wakes everything up gently, son, like watering a dry garden." Back then, it sounded a bit poetic and I didn't fully grasp the wisdom in it. Now, looking back, he was absolutely right, and there's actually a lot of sense behind it. Think about it, you've just spent 6, 7, maybe 8 hours sleeping. Your body hasn't had any fluids during that entire time. It's like a plant that's been in the sun all day. It's thirsty. Starting the day with a big glass of water, especially warm water, helps to rehydrate your system right away. Warm water is thought to be gentler on your digestive system first thing in the morning compared to ice-cold water, which can be a bit of a shock. It helps kickstart things. That bit of lemon he added, lemons are packed with vitamin C, of course, but they also have a subtle effect on digestion and are said to help stimulate bile production, which is important for breaking down fats. Plus, the slightly tart taste can just feel refreshing and cleansing. Drinking water first thing also has a surprising impact on your energy levels and mental clarity. Dehydration, even mild dehydration, can make you feel tired, sluggish, and even affect your mood and ability to focus. You might mistake that feeling of morning grogginess for just being tired, but sometimes you're just plain thirsty at a cellular level. By hydrating right away, you're giving your brain and body the fuel they need to start functioning optimally. It's like turning on the lights inside. I noticed a difference myself within a few days of adopting this habit. That foggy feeling that used to linger for the first hour or so of the morning started to dissipate much faster. I felt more alert, more ready to tackle the day. Grandpa always had his water before anything else, before coffee. before breakfast. He said it was about giving your body what it truly needed first. Coffee is wonderful, and I love my morning cup too, but it's a diuretic, meaning it can actually contribute slightly to dehydration if you're not also drinking enough water. Starting with water ensures you're hydrating effectively before introducing anything that might work against that. Making this a habit is incredibly simple. Keep a glass or a small pitcher of water by your bedside or on your kitchen counter, so it's the first thing you see. If you like the lemon, have a fresh lemon ready. You can squeeze it directly into the warm water. If lemon isn't your thing, plain warm water is perfectly fine. The key is the hydration. Start small if a whole big glass feels like too much, but aim to build up to a decent amount, maybe 8-12 ounces. As you get used to it, it takes less than a minute. But the benefits echo throughout your morning, beyond just the physical hydration. There was a quiet, mindful quality to Grandpa's morning water ritual. He wouldn't gulp it down while scrolling through a newspaper or rushing around. He'd stand by the counter, often looking out the window, and just slowly sip the water. It was a moment of peace, a quiet acknowledgement of the new day. I try to do that too now. Instead of grabbing my phone or getting caught up in the day's worries immediately, I take those few minutes to just be present, to feel the warmth of the water, and to appreciate the quiet start. It's a simple act of self-care, setting a calm tone before the hustle of the day begins, even if your day is just pottering around the house. Now, after he had his water, the next thing Grandpa always did was move his body. And I don't mean he went out for a strenuous jog or hit the gym. His movement was gentle, deliberate, and focused on waking up his muscles and joints. I remember him standing by the kitchen counter, holding on for balance, doing simple leg swings, arm circles, and gentle twists. He'd stretch his arms up high like he was reaching for the sky, then bend down slowly to touch his toes, or as close as he could get. He'd rotate his ankles and wrists. It was never a long routine, maybe 10-15 minutes tops. But he did it consistently, every single morning. He called it greasing the joints. As I've aged, I understand exactly what he meant by greasing the joints. You wake up, and everything feels a bit stiff, maybe even achy. Your body has been still for hours, and the connective tissues and muscles can tighten up. Jumping straight into your day without some gentle movement is like trying to start an old car engine on a freezing morning without letting it warm up first. It's just not going to run smoothly. Incorporating gentle stretching and movement into your morning routine is incredibly beneficial, especially as we get older. It increases blood flow to your muscles and joints, helping to deliver oxygen and nutrients and carry away waste products that can contribute to stiffness. It improves flexibility and range of motion, which can make everyday tasks like bending down to tie your shoes, reaching for something on a high shelf, or even just getting out of a chair feel much easier. It can also help to alleviate those morning aches and pains that many of us experience. Grandpa's approach was perfect because it was adaptable. Some mornings he might do a little more, some mornings a little less, depending on how he felt. He wasn't aiming for perfection or pushing himself to the limit. He was just aiming for movement, for waking his body up gently. I found that when I started doing this myself, replicating his simple stretches, I noticed a huge difference in how my body felt throughout the day. That stiffness that used to plague me in the mornings became less severe. My back felt better. My shoulders weren't as tight. You don't need any fancy equipment or a specific routine from a book or video. Just listen to your body. Start with simple things: arm circles forward and backward, shoulder shrugs, gentle neck turns slowly, reaching your hands towards the ceiling, gentle twists from your waist, leg swings holding onto a chair, calf raises standing by a counter. You can do seated stretches too if standing is difficult. Focus on slow, controlled movements. Breathe deeply as you move. Don't push into pain. Just move within a comfortable range. The goal is to feel a gentle stretch, a warming up, not a strain. Doing this gentle movement right after hydrating feels like a natural next step. You've watered the garden. Now you're helping the plants gently unfurl their leaves. It gets the circulation going and prepares your body for the day ahead. It's a foundational habit that supports everything else you do. On days I skip it, I always notice the difference. I feel more rigid, less fluid. So, even just 5 or 10 minutes can be incredibly impactful. It's an investment in feeling better. Right from the start of your day, it's funny how these simple habits, passed down through generations, often hold the most profound truths about taking care of ourselves. Now that we've talked about getting some hydration and gentle movement in, let's move on to something else that was a non-negotiable part of Grandpa's morning routine: breakfast. But not just any breakfast. There was a specific type of food he favored. And looking back, it made perfect sense for sustained energy and overall well-being. He ate oatmeal almost every single morning, and not the sugary, instant kind. He'd make a simple pot of rolled oats on the stove with water or milk, and then he'd add things to it: berries, nuts, maybe a sprinkle of cinnamon. At the time, it just seemed like plain old oatmeal, a bit boring maybe compared to sugary cereals. But Grandpa always said it stuck to your ribs and gave him the fuel he needed for the long haul. And he was right. Oatmeal, especially traditional rolled or steel-cut oats, is a fantastic source of complex carbohydrates and, crucially, soluble fiber. Complex carbohydrates provide a slow, steady release of energy into your bloodstream. Unlike sugary options that give you a quick spike followed by a crash, this means you feel fuller for longer and maintain more consistent energy levels throughout your morning. The soluble fiber in oatmeal, called beta-glucan, is particularly beneficial. It helps to slow down digestion, which contributes to that feeling of fullness. It's also fantastic for digestive health, acting like a broom to help keep things moving smoothly. Many people, as they get older, struggle with digestive issues, and increasing fiber intake can make a significant positive difference. Beyond digestion, beta-glucan has been shown to help manage cholesterol levels, which is another important aspect of health to consider. Adding things like berries and nuts to your oatmeal elevates its nutritional value even further. Berries are packed with antioxidants, which help protect your cells from damage. Nuts and seeds provide healthy fats, protein, and more fiber, contributing to satiety and providing essential nutrients for brain health and overall vitality. Grandpa loved adding a handful of walnuts or almonds and whatever berries were in season: blueberries, raspberries, strawberries. It made his simple oatmeal a powerhouse of nutrition without being complicated. Making this a habit is easy once you get into the rhythm. You can make a batch of rolled oats ahead of time for a few days, and just reheat a portion each morning, adding your fresh toppings. Or, take a few extra minutes to cook a small pot fresh. It doesn't take long. The key is consistency and focusing on whole, unprocessed oats. This simple breakfast provides sustained energy, supports your digestive system, and gives you a good dose of fiber and other vital nutrients to start your day. I noticed that when I started eating oatmeal regularly for breakfast, I didn't get that mid-morning slump I used to feel. And I wasn't reaching for unhealthy snacks. It truly provides that fuel for the long haul Grandpa talked about. Moving on from nourishing the body with food. Another subtle but powerful part of Grandpa's morning was his moment of quiet. After his water, movement, and breakfast, he would often just sit by the window for a few minutes, or sometimes step out onto his porch, even if it was just briefly. He wasn't necessarily reading the paper or doing anything specific. He would just be. Sometimes he'd watch the birds. Sometimes he'd just look at the sky. Sometimes he seemed lost in thought, but always with a sense of peace. I realize now he was practicing a form of mindfulness, a moment of calm reflection before fully engaging with the day's demands. In our busy world, even in retirement, it's easy to let the mind race ahead, thinking about appointments, errands, worries about family, or just the sheer volume of information coming at us from news and technology. This can create a feeling of stress and anxiety, even before the day has really begun. Taking just a few minutes for quiet reflection or deep breathing can dramatically change your mental state. It grounds you in the present moment and helps to set a calm, centered tone for the day. Grandpa didn't call it mindfulness or meditation. He just called it collecting himself. He'd take a few deep breaths, in through his nose, holding it for a second, and out slowly through his mouth. He said it helped clear the cobwebs from his mind. And it does. Deep breathing activates your parasympathetic nervous system, which is responsible for rest and relaxation. It counteracts the fight or flight response, helping to lower your heart rate and blood pressure, and reduce feelings of stress. Just 5 minutes of sitting quietly, focusing on your breath, or simply observing the world outside your window without judgment can make a huge difference. You don't need to clear your mind entirely. Thoughts will still pop in. The practice is just to notice them without getting carried away, and gently bring your attention back to your breath or your chosen point of focus. Like the leaves on a tree or the sound of birdsong. This simple practice trains your brain to be less reactive to stressors and more able to find moments of peace throughout the day. It's like giving your mind a gentle stretch and warm-up, just like you did for your body. I've found that incorporating this quiet moment helps me approach challenges with more patience and a clearer head. It's a small pause that yields big rewards in terms of mental and emotional well-being. It's a habit that nourishes your inner state, just as the water and oatmeal nourish your body. Finally, another element I remember about Grandpa's mornings, especially once the weather was fair, was getting outside. He didn't always go for a long hike. Sometimes it was just stepping out onto the porch to feel the morning air, or pottering in his small garden for a few minutes, or taking a short, gentle walk around the block. He believed in the power of fresh air and sunshine to lift his spirits and energize him. He'd say, "Nature's the best tonic, son." And he was absolutely right. Even a short exposure to the outdoors in the morning can have wonderful benefits. The fresh air invigorates you. Sunlight, even indirect sunlight, helps regulate your body's internal clock, your circadian rhythm, which is crucial for good sleep patterns. Getting natural light exposure early in the day signals to your body that it's time to be awake and alert. Plus, being in nature, even if it's just your backyard or a park down the street, has been shown to reduce stress, improve mood, and increase feelings of well-being. If you're able, a short walk is fantastic. It continues the gentle movement we talked about earlier, further increases circulation, and is good for your cardiovascular health. It doesn't need to be fast or long. Even a 10 or 15-minute walk can be beneficial. It wakes up your muscles, gets your blood pumping, and gives you a chance to engage your senses with the world around you, seeing the colors of flowers, hearing the birds, feeling the breeze. This sensory engagement is another form of mindfulness, keeping you present and connected. But even if walking is difficult, simply stepping outside for a few minutes, sitting on a porch or patio, or opening a window and breathing in the fresh air can be beneficial. Just connecting with the outside world, seeing the sky and trees, can shift your perspective and lift your mood. Grandpa didn't make it complicated. It was just about getting that contact with the natural world as part of his morning ritual. I try to do the same now. Even just stepping onto my balcony for a few deep breaths and looking at the morning sky. It's a simple act, but it feels incredibly grounding and life-affirming. It's a reminder that we are part of something larger, and that connection, even in small ways, is important. So, when you look at these simple habits, starting with warm water, adding gentle movement, nourishing your body with a wholesome breakfast like oatmeal, taking a moment for quiet reflection or deep breathing, and getting a dose of fresh air and maybe a short walk, They seem almost too basic, don't they? We live in a world that often pushes complicated solutions, expensive gadgets, and trendy diets. But sometimes, the most powerful things are the simplest ones. The practices that have stood the test of time because they fundamentally support our natural state of being. These weren't just isolated actions for Grandpa. They were woven together into a gentle rhythm that prepared him physically, mentally, and emotionally for the day ahead. It wasn't about chasing peak performance or trying to reverse the clock entirely. It was about supporting his body and mind as they were. About meeting the day with presence and energy. He wasn't trying to be 20 again. He was simply living his best life at the age he was, with vitality and grace. And that's the real secret here. The thing I learned by watching him and then by doing these things myself. It's not just about the individual habits, but about the intentionality of starting your day in a way that honors your well-being. It's about dedicating those first moments, before the world fully imposes its demands, to nurturing yourself. It's a quiet declaration that you are important, and that taking care of yourself is the foundation for everything else. You might be thinking, that sounds nice, but it's hard to change old habits. And you're right, it can be. But the beauty of these is how simple they are. You don't have to do them all perfectly. Every single day, right from the start. Begin with just one. Maybe start with the glass of water. Do that consistently for a week or two until it feels natural. Then add 5 minutes of gentle stretching. Once that's a routine, try incorporating a simple oatmeal breakfast a few times a week. Gradually build them in. Small changes, consistently applied, lead to remarkable transformations over time. Remember, the goal isn't perfection, it's progress. It's about building a foundation of simple practices that support your energy, your clarity, and your overall health. It's about waking up feeling more comfortable in your own skin, more ready to face the day, and more able to enjoy the moments it brings. It's about reclaiming some of that vitality that might feel like it's been slipping away. These are the habits my grandpa did every morning, and now I do too. And they truly have made a world of difference in how I feel each day. They remind me of his quiet strength and wisdom, and they empower me to live my best life at every age. It's never too late to start building new habits that nourish your body and soul. These simple steps can be your gentle guide to brighter, more energetic mornings and fuller, more joyful days. I'd love to hear what you think. Have you tried any of these habits before? Do you have your own morning rituals that help you feel your best? Share your thoughts and experiences in the comments below. Your insights could be incredibly helpful to others in this wonderful community. If you found this video helpful or inspiring, please give it a thumbs up. It really helps the channel. And if you want more practical tips and encouraging messages for living vibrantly at every stage of life, hit that subscribe button and the notification bell so you don't miss out. Thank you for spending this time with me. Remember, small changes can make a big difference to your health and happiness. Live your best life at every age.